Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chamber Chats, a podcast series that is brought to you by Sevenoaks District Chamber of Commerce. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm your host. And I'm really pleased this morning to be joined by Paul Baker from Wealden Properties. Hello, Paul.
Morning, Nick. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming in. A little bit about Wealden Properties. They are a traditional landlord offering a range of commercial and residential properties to rent in and around Sevenoaks. Paul is the chair of Sevenoaks Chamber of Commerce, Sevenoaks District Chamber of Commerce, so he's got a really important role which we'll speak about. But let's start the podcast, Paul, about your background and how you got into working with Wealden Properties.
Yeah, interesting story, really. I mean, when I first left school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So back in the mid-'80s, did what a lot of people did and went and joined the bank for a year.
Did you?
And this was with NatWest, working in West End of London. And although obviously, your career was really important, the social side was quite good as well.
Of course. And
15 years later, you find yourself still there. So, and then due to circumstances, I left NatWest and joined Nationwide doing commercial property lending, and had a really good career with Nationwide. Spent another 15, 16 years there.
Okay.
Until one day we got the dreaded notice of the union meeting and a 3-line whip, you must attend, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And Nationwide had decided it was no longer going to do commercial lending.
Okay.
Obviously we had a huge back book of loans that I think even now is still being managed out. But
really?
as from the date of the meeting, there was no new lending.
Okay.
I managed a team in London of about 2022 that looked after the existing loan book. Yeah. And one of those loans was to Wealden Property.
Okay, right.
So I had to ring the elderly Mr. Terry and break the news to him. And after we had the usual, well, they don't mean that to me, Paul, do they? Well, yes, Bill, unfortunately they mean it to everyone. I'm afraid, that's it. He must have had a thought, because about a couple of weeks later he phoned me up and said, "What are you going to do, Paul?" I said, "I've got to find something else to do."
Yeah.
And he said, "My property manager's leaving. Would you fancy coming to replace him?"
Yeah, right.
I was quite bold because I knew what the property manager did. In the nicest way, going from leading a team of 20 to 22 to being the property manager was probably a step back.
Yes.
So I said, how about, Bill, if it's not really for me, but if I was able to come and run the whole business from top to bottom, I'd be interested. So he said, come out and see me.
Wow.
And as the saying goes, here we are today.
That's a brilliant story. I love that. What an opportunity that's just come out of nothing. Well, an opportunity that's come actually out of something that's probably a little bit negative, turned into a complete positive.
Yeah, and it's quite surreal, really, because obviously the Wealden portfolio has been built up over 50, 60 years, a hell of a period.
Yeah.
But the last couple of properties that Wealden bought with money from Nationwide, effectively I helped provide the loan, and now I have to manage those properties. So it's a bit.
It keeps inside itself.
Yeah.
I don't know, right terminology for that, but yeah, I like that. Just tell us a little bit about the guy that owns it. Then is he still involved with Wealden Properties? Does he still own it all, or?
It passed from Bill to his only son.
Right. Okay.
And I suppose in many ways I'm quite fortunate in that I get a fairly free rein. I send Richard, his son, a quick summary each month as to how the business is doing and where we are financially and other issues. But he allows me to get on with it. Really, I don't get any micromanage in that.
That's
and he lives over in Cheltenham. Got his own family and career, so
well, that's exactly what you wanted then, though, wasn't it? When you made that call in to say, or when he called you to say, I'd like to run it from top to bottom, and that's obviously just you're running with that. You're obviously doing a good job.
Well, I'd like to think so, but
I guess there's probably some challenges you face along the way with managing all those properties. We talked earlier about, you know, now it starts raining, the phone calls start coming in because of the leaks and stuff like that. You manage that and you sub that out to local traders within your business network.
Yes, a combination of our own maintenance team, which we have, and then in the nicest way, if the jobs are either beyond their skill set, or the other thing is, you know, perhaps if a job would take too much time, then we call in one of the other local traders that we work with. I mean, if you think we've got 98 tenants that we look after, we can't really take on a job that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to complete, and then if someone else rings up in that time, we can say, I'm sorry, we can't help you.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
You need to balance that out.
Which is great, because that's where Sevenoaks Chamber of Commerce can come in, or the Chamber of Commerce, because you can really draw on those resources of the tradesmen within that.
Yeah. And in fairness, I've met a number of the trades that we use now. I've either met through the chamber or received recommendations from people that I've met through the chamber. So that's been a really good. And I remember actually when I first joined Wealden, I had a 2-day handover with the property manager who was leaving, which for 98 tenants wasn't really much, but it's did have to wing it a bit. But I said to him, how do we find new tenants? And he says, well, you know, sometimes one of the ladies in the shops has a niece or a nephew or a sister looking for somewhere, and I think, well, recommendations are always great. But you know, here we are with some of the 98 houses and flats, but we've got about 70 commercial units that would suit people either starting up a business or perhaps working from home and want their first premises. So you know, our phone should really be ringing, and it's not. I'm going to join the chamber. And the first comment I got was, well, you won't find many shopkeepers there. And I said, well, maybe so, but what I will meet is business advisors, accountants, solicitors, people who speak to people. And yes, I mean, I suppose the ultimate thing is you never know if you would have got these leads if you hadn't been a member of the chamber, but I have actually got 2 or 3 of my existing tenants now have actually come through chats at the chamber.
And like you say, it's not just the people in the room, it's the people they know outside the room, isn't it? And that's a real good resource you can draw on. How was it through COVID? How did that affect you? Was that a challenge?
It was. I always remember sitting on the sofa that evening watching the Prime Minister on the TV saying, don't go out, don't mix, don't do this, don't do anything. And my partner at the time, now my wife, turned around to me and said, gosh, I wouldn't want to be a landlord now. No, thanks for your support, love.
Timing.
Yeah, so I was quite worried, anxious, nervous for the first few weeks. But then it became apparent to me that a lot of our tenants are sort of sole traders or small family businesses, and rightly or wrongly, they're sort of either relying on the business for their future pension arrangements, or they could hand me the keys back, but what else are they going to do? So in many respects, maybe they was just as or more worried than I was. So then it was the time to sit down and say, right, well, how can we work together to get through this period? And I would say that at least 95% of the commercial tenants we had pre-COVID are still with us today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
you must have given them real comfort through that, because that's that you keeping in contact with them, making sure that everything's going to be okay.
Well, it was quite an eye-opener for me. Some tenants were really on the ball, and they were aware of all the grants and the things that they could apply for.
Made your life easier.
Other tenants weren't really aware at all, and you sort of had to end up filling the form for them and then chasing things up, providing the evidence and that, and that was quite. So that was quite early on into my Wealden career. That was about 18 months in, and again, I always remember a phrase with the elderly Mr. Terry. One of our first meetings when I'd actually joined was he said. And I don't think I'm breaking any confidences in saying this, but he said, put the rents up and tell the tenants you'll look after them.
Okay.
And I said, well, what you do, Bill, is you look after the tenants and then you put the rents up. So I felt I'd done 18 months of looking after people, and perhaps we were just at the stage where we could start to put the rents up. And then, COVID came along. Maybe that was our way of, working with the tenants and just helping them out for a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah. And Mr. Bill Terry, he was the guy that owned it. So when did he pass?
He passed in the summer of 2023.
Right, okay.
So just 2 and a bit years now.
After that, yeah.
Yeah.
And was there a lot of sort of... was he good at making everyone aware of what needed to be done when he went, so that it wasn't difficult? He didn't. Wasn't any skeletons in the cupboard kind of thing.
No, it was quite a rush towards the end.
Was it?
And
Okay.
Unfortunately, his unfortunately, perhaps this is the way. I don't know to go, but his deterioration in health came quite quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Even 6 months before, he was saying to me, "Paul, I've got 10 years left, and this is what I want to do in that time." So I think it was people who know him well knew that he had a big archery collection. That was his passion.
Okay.
I think he wanted to put arrangements in place to sort of pass it on to selected charities and that,
Right,
but
okay.
unfortunately, time got the better of him.
Well, he's obviously a great man to create that sort of portfolio of properties. He was obviously very switched on. Let's talk about your involvement with the Chamber, because as chair of the Sevenoaks District Chamber of Commerce, what does that mean? What do you have to do, and how do you help?
We've got an excellent board of directors. You probably know most of them. And we come from a wide range of business backgrounds. So, I suppose, like any sort of good board, you sit down and you have things to discuss, and people say, "I know a bit about that," or "I know a bit about that," or "I've come across this before." And between us, I think the board gives a lot of support to Dawn and Beth, who obviously do a great job in the first place. But we just got
support.
that little bit of support. And I suppose as the chair, it's just my job to lead the board,
Steer it in the right
direction. When we have one of our meetings, do my best to try and keep it to time, stick to the agenda.
It's going really well, because the members are growing and growing, aren't they? I mean, every meeting I go to, it's always well attended, but whenever you stand up and talk, or Beth or Dawn stands up and talk, it sounds like the membership numbers are growing, sort of 220, 230, and it's coming up.
Before I got voted in as chair, I was treasurer of the chamber.
Okay.
And I remember conversations in the early days of, what's the maximum number of members that we can deal with, really? Okay. Not only from the admin side of the office, but also trying to find venues sufficiently large to accommodate the meetings. And it was mooted about maybe 220, 230 would be our maximum. And then that came 250, and then we got a new CRM system, so that was 275. And now, as you say, we're well past 300.
Is it? I didn't know that. It's gone over 300.
It's gone over 300 now.
That's really that's testament you're doing.
Who knows where we'll end?
Yeah.
I just think, for me, I just hope that we don't lose that personal touch. I think some members who are part of other larger chamber organisations sort of say, when they go there, sometimes they feel a bit like a number rather than the person.
That's a good point, actually.
But hopefully, no matter how big the Sevenoaks District Chamber grows, we can still keep that personal touch.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I have experienced that at other chambers, but I don't get that at Sevenoaks. And I love the venues. The different venue choice is brilliant. I mean, the summer soirees, the Christmas party. I actually tried to book into the Christmas party this morning, but I'm too late. The Christmas lunch, which is at Wealden.
2nd of December?
Yeah, it's too late. It's sold out. But I've booked onto the Christmas drinks at like the week after, or I think
Penshurst Place.
At Penshurst Place, yeah. It sounds lovely, because it's going to be, you've got the fire roaring and everyone's going to be around the fire. Yeah, I really like the sound of that. Going back to your property business, have you got any spaces that are empty? Are you full, or are you still trying to? Is it you full all the time, or?
No, I think it'd be foolish to say we're full all the time.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of voids at the moment. One residential and one commercial.
Okay.
But we're doing some alterations to the buildings at the moment, so arguably they're not ready to rent out. But without sort of giving all my trade secrets away, another thing I do is that say you were a tenant of mine, say you had a shop, and you might have a 3 or 5 year lease, say. But I'd always say to you, Nick, if it's not working out, come and see me. To start with, I'll try and use my sort of banking career to try and see if I can advise you. I'm very careful not to tell you what to do, because I might, you might do something and then come back and say, well, Paul, I've done what you told me to do, and I still can't pay my rent, so it's your fault. What I might do is say, have you thought about your pricing? Have you thought about your opening hours? I tell you what, I've got a business coach I know through the chamber.
Perfect.
He'll give you an hour's free advice. He'll come out, and then it's someone else's idea. But
I love that. Yeah.
But say we've been over that, got past that hurdle, and it's not working out for you. I would say to you, okay, well, I will let you go as soon as I find someone else to take your place.
Okay.
Now that may seem crazy, but if I know you're going to go at some point, I may as well find someone whilst you're still there.
Yeah, right.
Rather than waiting for you to give me the keys back, everyone sees an empty shop on the parade.
That's really supportive as well, isn't it? Yeah. I mean that sort of thing makes word spread as well. The way you treat your clients like that makes when an inquiry comes in. You always get this when maybe someone's looking at a business and looking to try it. They're going to feel around for what other people say about it. Maybe they'll look online for reviews or speak to other other tenants, and get their opinion on it. And if you really look after them, then that word's going to spread. Really important.
Well, I mean, that's the sort of the beauty stroke the danger of Wealden, because our portfolio is concentrated in such a local area.
Yeah.
That yes, if you
people talk in Sevenoaks.
Yeah, I mean,
as they do anyway.
I suppose not a very technical term, but if you turn someone over, word will soon get round.
Completely.
Or into the other thing we tend to say is if you do something for a tenant, you might have to be prepared to do it 60 or 70 times over, because someone will say, "Well, you did that for Paul along the road, so can you do that for me?"
Yeah, that's something that you learn along the way. I would have thought to be very careful of. Things like renters' rights bill and EPC changes. That's been a tough thing to keep on top of. All these legislations changing for landlords.
In fact, there was something in the media this morning about the renters' rights bill, and a lot of the changes that have been signed off are going to come into effect from the 1st of May. Okay. The big one, which seems to get a lot of the press coverage, is the abolition of what was known as Section 21, which was a no fault eviction. If you were a flat tenant of ours, I could just come to you and say, "Sorry, Nick, here's notice. I want the flat back." Yeah. As from the 1st of May, that will no longer be allowed. I've got to say that in the 7 years I've been at Wealden, we've never used Section 21 to get a tenant out. So I can't really say whether that's going to be a loss to us or not. No. Some of the other changes are could be a little bit challenging. Now, at the moment, it's quite common to have a 12-month letting agreement. But as from the 1st of May, it will just be into a rolling agreement. Right. Okay. And you could give me 2 months' notice to leave if you're a tenant. And it's quite possible that you could move in one day and give me 2 months' notice the next. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't. Famous last words. I don't see this happening in practice, because the inconvenience of having to move for a tenant is great. But in theory, that could possibly happen.
That could be a bit of a pain.
I think there's also how we go about getting rent increases. So again, I have to give you notice that I want to put the rent up, and then you've got 2 months to come back and accept.
Okay.
If you don't accept, we go through a tribunal process.
Really?
But I suppose the real thing is, if the tribunal, say, finds in favour of Wealden and felt we were asking for a fair rent, that rent's only due from the date of the tribunal hearing.
Okay.
It doesn't get backdated.
Okay, all right.
And, the rumour mill's working, but they're sort of saying the tribunal process might take 6 to 9 months. So
Okay,
I think
that could make it a little bit easier.
and then there's other things about pets, and
Right.
you can no longer just blanketly say, you can't have pets. You've got to have a real justifiable reason.
God.
I think the other thing is, one of the main things is you can't accept a rent higher than what you've advertised the flat for. So say I advertise a flat for say $1,200 a month, and there's a lot of interest. Someone says, "I'll tell you what, if you let me have it, I'll give you $1,300 a month."
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to do that anymore. You can only let it for max. So
That's good though, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I mean, one of the favourite offices I've worked for at Nationwide, one of his phrases was "certain rules drive certain behaviours."
Right.
So I suppose all that will happen now is, I'll market that flat for $1,350.
Yeah, you'll put it, yeah.
Accepting that I'll be willing to take $1,200 and just see what offers you get.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it can work in both
Yeah.
favours, can't
Yeah.
it? I see that. And when someone can give you 2 months' notice, or are allowed to give you 2 months' notice, so therefore you can give them 2 months' notice as well. So it protects you as well as them. Or is it not?
Only in certain instances. I can,
You need a good reason.
Yeah, well, the two reasons why I can give you 2 months' notice is if I want to vacate to sell,
Right. Okay.
or if a family member wishes to move in, the landlord wishes to use it themselves.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, unfortunately, there can be some unscrupulous landlords out there sometimes. So one of the rules around asking the tenant to leave to sell is you then can't rent that flat out for another 12 months.
Okay.
So
Right.
you can't ask the tenant to leave, then in 2 months' time say, "Oh, I've decided not to sell now. I'm going to rent it out again." You can't. No, you can't do that. So
Okay, that's fair enough.
yeah, you got to leave it empty for a year before you rent it out again.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I guess they put challenges in front of you like this, but it will all probably become easier as you get through it and move your way through it.
I suppose that just word on, we finish off on the renters' right. The most interesting thing is, for me, is we've got 25 residential tenants, and over the past year, none of them have asked me about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not even aware of it.
Maybe not, no.
So let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it. Just quickly on Sevenoaks and the bid, where they're trying to be a business improvement district, which Tunbridge Wells is, and you're involved on the board with that as well, aren't you? And how far away from you are that? How far are you from getting the bid?
I think we've reached that stage now where we're just drawing up the business plan.
Nice.
It's quite interesting, really, because when you start to, one of the things that I've done over the past few months is informally chat to my tenants, especially those who would have to pay the bid premium under the business rates, and just try and get some feedback as to what they would like the money to be spent on.
Yeah.
And I think there's two things really. One of them, they've got a concern that most of the investment and focus will be on the town centre. Whereas our properties are down in Hollybush Lane and Baton Ball, so arguably that could be detrimental to them. But putting that to one side, when you do actually start to ask them, the feedback about the service that Sevenoaks Council provides is really good.
Yeah. Right.
And when you say, well, what else do you think the council could do? Well, I'm not really sure.
Right. Well, that's good feedback.
Extra parking, but in some of these places there just isn't the space to do parking. The usual thing about parking charges.
Everyone complains about that, don't they?
They do. But no, it's quite interesting to try and put your finger on.
What you can do.
And I think the other thing is the bid area. If you know Sevenoaks, it covers quite a spread of different sort of business areas. So you have got the town centre, and you have got St John's and Hollybush and Baton Ball, which is your independent traders. But then it spreads over Baton Ball Junction into where you've got the big warehouses, industrial estates, and trying to find something that keeps all three people sweet. In another word, I think is going to be the biggest challenge of the business plan.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, it's one of the biggest challenges, making them realise, that it's worth it and what they get for their money, and showing them what they get for their money, all those sort of things. But I'm sure you'll do very good at it, and I wish you well with that. Now, you play in a pool league, is that right? Are you any good?
Sometimes. I've actually been playing pool since about the age of 16, 17. It all very, very quickly. It all started off. My best friend, when I was about 11 or 12, his dad was a policeman.
Okay.
And in those days, you could just go down the police station and walk straight in and play on their full-size snooker table, which is where we spent our weekends and our school holidays. Yeah. So when we started going to the pub at 15, 16-ish, you got the smaller pool table with the bigger pockets. We found we were quite good.
Quite good at it.
And so that's where it all started. When we played for about maybe 10, 15 years, and then you drift apart and you have families and you do other things. But about 6 or 7 years ago, we all got back together. Now we play in the league on a Thursday night across South East London.
Oh right, okay, yeah. And are you doing all right?
We're doing all right. There's 4 divisions. We've got ourselves in the Premier Division, the top league. Nice one. So it's I'd say it's
getting harder.
It's semi-serious. So
good for you.
You have to have your wits about you.
I bet. Well, listen, thanks, Paul. Thanks for coming on the podcast and talking to me. And there's also, if you're driving through Sevenoaks, now where is this billboard? With your picture on, big face.
It's opposite Sevenoaks Station. Right. There's about I think it's about five or six businesses have advertised there. Of which Wealden is one.
Right.
And I was told at the time it will be good. It will be good PR. And
it is, isn't it? Everyone talks about it.
Yeah, I've never had so many messages or texts about anything before. So from how good the picture looks to I was driving through Sevenoaks, I've just crashed my car. It's been good.
So have a look at that, someone. Yeah. When you're driving through, check out Paul's picture and don't crash.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you're doing for Sevenoaks Chamber of Commerce, Sevenoaks District Chamber of Commerce. You're doing a great job. I love the meetings. I love the chamber. They do so much for my business, and I know they do so much for all the members, and all the people that I meet there all speak very, very highly of the good work that you do. So nice one for that. If anyone wants to get involved in Sevenoaks District Chamber of Commerce, please look at their website and come along for a meeting to see how you feel. Once again, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you all for another podcast soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.